hear, someone may be inspired, someone may learn, and someone may rejoice and find out who they really are in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. And welcome to Hoops and Hurdles. You see, author Ty Patterson brought us on in. How y'all doing today? Yeah, she brought us on in. I hope everyone having an amazing Friday. Tell them, hey, Miss Ty.
Hey, I promise I didn't know we was on there, but that's all right. You're supposed to pray before you do those things that you've been doing for him anyway. So, hey, that's how we do.
Amen. So she didn't know that it went live. So while she was praying, I was like, let me just go and click this live button. So, people hear that we do pray, before we do anything.
Yeah.
So we were waiting on our dear friend Tamron, Miss Tam.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully she'll join us later. Tam, we waiting on you, boo.
Hey, Tam, we waiting.
So again, welcome to Hoops and Hurdles. My name is Teressa Mack. I am your host. I am also an author and an upcoming motivational speaker. And I'm going to let Miss Ty Patterson introduce herself because she has a list of things and she can explain it better than I can. So Ty, take the floor.
Hello, world. It's your girl, Ty Patterson. Yes, I am an author. I am an entrepreneur. I'm a consultant, writer, editor, ghostwriter, actress, coach, singer, all these wonderful things. I'm leaving some stuff out, but it is what it is. I've never wanted to do just one thing, and I don't want to leave here wondering what if. So that list might change tomorrow. It is what it is. How you doing out there?
Yes, she has a lot of a big platform, as y'all can see. So we're gonna keep it rolling. So I know you all are wondering, like, what is today about? So we are coming because we are authors. I am a newbie to authoring or being an author or published author, but these ladies that I have coming tonight, they have been in the game longer than me. So I just wanted to make a podcast. So if you are interested or curious about publishing a book, we wanted to come and tell you our experiences of self-publishing and traditional publishing. Is it worth publishing a book and so forth? So the first question. So as a child, what did you want to do professionally when you grew up, Miss Ty?
I did want to write. So I was the kid that I got in trouble because I would fake make my bed up. I read so much, I slept with books in the bed. And I was too lazy to put them up because I was like, I'm just going to read anyway. So I actually had books laying in the bed around me, and I would just cover them up when I made the bed up like nothing was there. So when I would just, because I'm gonna be right. Look, I'm a tourist. All that's too much work. So I need my stuff to be right there. So yes, I started writing little stories in like the 3rd and 4th grade. And you know how you would write the stories and staple them and make a book. Mm-hmm. And I would pass them around the classroom and people would read them. And I had character names and stuff. It probably went up to like 4 or 5 words per page. But everybody was like, you got another book? You got another book? And it's like probably 5 pages, 7 pages. And I really thought I had some. I was drawing the covers and everything. So I've always wanted to write. I was the 4-page letter girl, the one writing the letters and stuff and putting perfume on it and kissing them and all that stuff. That was me.
Not Ty.
That was me.
Not the perfume and kissing the letter.
Yes, that was me. I always loved to write. Now we had what I called a library when I was little. Didn't know it was just a bookshelf. I called it a library.
A library.
So I would read whatever was there. And back then we had encyclopedias. We had Terry McMillan. I don't think I was supposed to be reading them, but it was on the shelf.
They don't know about the blue books, the Britannicas.
Yes.
Yes.
So you know the movie How Stella Got Her Groove Back. I read that when I was little because my mom had the book. She had Disappearing Acts, all that stuff that came out years and years later. I had already read them. I wasn't supposed to have read them, but they was right there. So it is what it is.
So for me as a child growing up, y'all never believe this, but I always wanted to be a cosmetologist and a nurse. I loved doing hair,
Okay.
had Barbie dolls. Only thing I couldn't do was braid, but I was like, I'm gonna learn. But I wanted to be a cosmetologist and I wanted to be a nurse. I knew I wanted to help people. But as I got older, of course, life took its turns. Things happened. I lost track of what I really wanted to do in life. And I just felt as though I needed to feel my mother's footsteps. But when I thought about it, you can't feel her footsteps. They're bigger than yours. So I went back into school as LPN. Then I dropped and went to surgical tech. And then it was like, I don't want to do this no more. So I just got to stop going to school altogether and start working at Crystals. And when I did finally get back into school, it was criminal justice. That's because I was a correctional officer in DOC. And I was like, oh, I kind of like this field. So that's when I ended up taking a turn and going to criminal justice. But my passion as a child, my professionally, I wanted to grow up doing hair and being a nurse.
See, that's like Taraji. She's always wanted to be a cosmetologist. I think she actually did anyway. Now she has a hairline after acting and doing all the other stuff. And then there's a couple of people that are celebrities and they have these dreams that we would have never known. And it's funny that you say feeling your mother's footsteps, because that's being a cosmetologist is what people would have thought I wanted to do, because that's what my mother did.
Yeah,
and she had her own shop. I could do hair. See, back then, it wasn't common for teens and kids to be able to do hair. So when I was in 12th and 11th grade, I was doing my classmates' hair for senior portraits and prom and all that stuff. And that really wasn't heard of. But of course, now you 12, 10, 15, you know how to do something, a swoop or something to somebody's hair. So, but I learned how to do hair. Let me tell you, I did hair in college. But what made me put a pin in it? First of all, people that know you don't want to pay you.
Come on now.
They don't. I don't know what it is. And then two, it's not that they don't want to pay you, but they don't want to pay you what you're worth.
That part.
So it's all of that. And honestly, I went to hair school. I went to CDC in Jackson because I was like, I know how to do it. I might as well go ahead and be licensed. I did. By Provine.
I think everybody went to CDC.
but did that. But I ain't finished. I stayed there. It was so slow because I was already doing hair. My attention just was not there. I didn't want to learn about the history of it, even though I enjoyed it once I started reading about it. But what they used for makeup, because they really didn't have it, because I love natural things and herbs and stuff like that. So I liked it, but it was too slow for me because I was already doing things. I was doing relaxers at 16 for other people. So I was like, come on, when am I gonna get my hands on somebody's head?
Yeah.
So I quit that. I quit CDC. I'm so not proud of it because it was cheap, y'all. Oh Lord. It was like $1,400 for the whole program, I think, or $1,200. Yeah. I stayed there long enough to get my free kit with the supplies and the mannequin, the bag. Yes, man. Now I'm gonna get something out the deal. I got my free kit. I still use that kit and my mannequin because I can't braid either, but I be trying.
I really do want to learn though. I said I'm gonna learn. I remember my auntie. I did not. Only thing I knew how to do was, like they said, plait hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know how to perm. I didn't know how to do anything. It was my auntie Vicky. One day we was at my grandma Joe's house, and she was like, "Come and perm my hair." I was like, "I don't know how to perm no hair." She's like, "You finna learn today?" I was like, "On what?" She's like, "Me." I was like, "No, ma'am." But she literally taught me how to perm hair,
Yeah.
roll hair. Grandma Joe taught me how to dye hair. So that's kind of how I got back into like hair because of them. I didn't know how to do anything. But now, but I be in there perming and know how to clip ends and dye hair.
Everything. I'm telling you, I went to Mississippi State first, and then I transferred to Jackson State. So I did here at Mississippi State and at Jackson State. I had flyers though when I went to Jackson State. I was upgrading, putting them up under people's doors and stuff. Straw sets. They remember me.
Oh, them straw
They
sets
know.
was my favorite, girl. Sorry, Crystal used to always lose straw because of me.
Oh, I had a plug. They was coming bringing me them windy straws because them was the biggest ones. So
yes. Chris has a big one too, baby. I used to love the straws.
Yes. I was like, don't give me no McDonald's straws. Get somebody else to do it. I need
them red straws.
Yes, ma'am. Loved it. So I everything, layers, and actually had growing hands too. So I enjoyed it, but it's tedious. And then you're doing them in small spaces. And honestly, it just
for real. You took us back.
That was just something to do. I made money off of it, but that was definitely not for me.
So when did you realize you wanted to write your first book? Like, when did you realize you wanted to write a book? To be a book
I always have, but it took other people saying something about it. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, I've written so much over the years, but it was more so poetry than anything. And then I used to draw a lot too. So that kind of took precedence over me actually doing a lot of writing. But I was always good as far as like speeches and presentations and stuff like that in school.
Yeah.
But when Facebook came along and I was writing all of these lengthy poems, well, they had a section called notes. We used to be able to write notes in Facebook. And I wrote so many that honestly, people started saying under there, you need to write a book.
They had that for real? I must came in late with that.
It was called Notes. Yeah. And you could just put whatever you wanted to, because I had written over 40 before I realized it. So the book was already written, but it was on Facebook. So that was the easiest thing for me to do. There's only about maybe 4 pieces that were new from my first book, because the rest of them, all I did was just pull them, make some corrections and things like that, and I did that. I'm glad I did that so that it could just be an easy process. So I could just see how it's done the first time.
Okay. Wow. I did not know Facebook had that. They let you know I was not on Facebook when it first came out.
Mm-hmm. It was a long time ago, maybe like 2009. Maybe that's when it started to die down. Because my book came out in like 2014, something like that. Yeah.
When I first realized I wanted to be a writer was, I want to say when I moved out here to Texas. Honestly, I started to write. Because I was like, okay, I have gone through a lot. You know, some people need to hear my story. And then I was like, no, I'm not going to do that because it's going to open up a lot of doors that I don't want open. And I just stopped. I wrote up to like chapter 5. And then I was like, nah, I'm not going to write this book. I'm just going to stop. But then when I went to therapy, started getting healing and all this good stuff, and then ended up on Mr. Gucci and Miss Colleen's show, and you know, Papa Gucci was pushing that book. I was like, well, let me go ahead and write this book.
Yeah.
It needs to be, you know, my story needs to be told. And then when we ended up at that event and that woman was like, you know, that happened with that lady, I was like, oh my God, my book is touching people. But I never thought in a million years that I would be a book writer at all. But I'm happy I wrote it. But yeah.
Well, that's the thing though. And I tell people all the time, everybody has a story. And we walk by them every day.
Yep.
We don't walk by people every day. We walk by stories every single day. And we have no idea if we're walking by a thriller or if we're walking by a romance novel, if we're walking by scriptures. We don't know what when we see
walking by.
We have no idea, and they have no idea when they come to you what kind of story you have. So I'm actually really, when you say stuff like that, I get chills real easily. I got chills on my arms because just for people to say I did it,
Yep.
and to get that out, it's so therapeutic, whether it is the truth or whether it is a children's book, fiction, whatever it is, because you will not wonder what if. There are some people who wrote one and then they moved on to something else because that was like really big for them to just do that one, and then they moved on. And then for some, it just sparked more and more and more and more. There are people out there that I know that have so like countless. Tanja Murphy, she has, I love to call her Dr. Tanja Murphy because I think it just fits. Yeah, I just and she but she has so many books. It's like when she did one, it's like it just opened up, like you said, a can of worms. It's just a lot. So when people get to that, I can do it, and then I did it. I love it because everyone has a story, everyone has value, even if it's not with writing, with whatever it is. I love to see people get out of their own way and go ahead and do it, and honestly not even care what happens because you can't control it anyway.
You can't. And when and people at work, when they be like, you wrote a book, and I be like, yeah, I wrote a book, and sometimes I get shocked, like I touch my book and I be like, I can't believe I have a book, but like I said, I'm happy that I wrote it because now people actually know my story. Like people out here they'll assume they know me. You don't know me. You just know, snippets of me or what you have heard, but can't nobody tell my story like me. So yeah, I'm going to share my story. I'm going to write this book, and I don't care what doors it open. This is my testimony. These are my stories. This is God's glory. So, like I said, I never knew I would write a book, but I wrote it. So,
and I'm glad you wrote it because honestly, the way it's written, it brings you into the timing of it. It's very descriptive, and it brings you into the time of it, and we can all relate, like going to church and wearing a bow. And it's relatable, and it has that humor, and it has those moments where we can read it. Little girls can read like, "Oh my God, that was me back in the day." But then it takes it. There's a fork in the road, and it takes a turn, and now it starts to appeal to people that have another story.
Yeah, look who is joining us.
That they can relate to as well. What's going on up in here?
Wow, like technology is really different when you.
Come on now.
You are here with us, boo.
Yes. That's what we've been waiting on. Come on. Get some of these questions.
We've been asking questions, but we kind of stalling too.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, y'all. Technology.
You good.
And see, I didn't know you was in a different time zone until Ty said something. She said she in Atlanta or she in Jackson. I was like, I thought she was Jackson.
I'm in Jackson for now.
Okay.
So we good.
Look, Tam. Tam, I said, now if she wanted her own show, she could have just said that. Don't be leaving me on here and then trying to come back by yourself. Because I'm clicking in right on with you, somebody.
And she did. Man, I'm not doing this, y'all, but she did. I was like, don't do that.
Yes, come on.
So the first question I had asked him was, as a child, what did you want to do professionally when you grew up?
I actually wanted to be in television as a child. I used to watch the Cosby Show a lot.
Oh.
And my mother, because I'm a preacher's kid, had us to sit down and watch TV. So I used to always watch the news and see the graphics and the hoopla, the glitz and glam. And I used to wonder, can they touch it? Do they know it's there? So that kind of curiosity kind of stayed. So that's what I am doing.
Okay, I had told her I wanted to be a nurse or a cosmetologist. Yeah, I didn't go
Come
neither.
on.
I don't know how to do that like my late 20s.
We got to have these lace fronts and these hairdos, you know.
Give you a nice wig, but I don't know about them lace fronts. I may mess them up.
Yeah.
And Ty, what you say? Cosmetologist?
I did it, but that's what my mom did.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes something that you can do ain't nothing that you just want to do or that you even should do at some point. Cause see, my mama was real nice, and she would let people pay in other forms that wasn't cash.
Mm.
And I'm not trying to be funny, but you're not finna bring me no snacks. I done did your hair. You're not finna bring me no snacks in lieu of. I don't want none out your garden.
True.
I just, you know, and I'm grateful and stuff like that, but you got to pay for your services. You do have to pay for your services.
You do, child. You do. Yeah. I'm just
saying, you know, we live, right? I just like it's people like right there.
With technology, like it's let me back out, child. Y'all don't mind me.
We love you, though. Okay. What you tickling us? So the next question was, when did you realize you wanted to write your book?
I actually wrote my first book when I was 12.
Really?
Actually, kind of like a little bit of a prophetic book. And at that time, I was really, really kind of finding myself when it came to ministry. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of wrote it. I never did publish it, but I'm going to go back and I'm going to publish it. But it was one, I think I was sitting in my history class. It was enjoyable that, you know, however, it's just my mind just went off. Okay. And I just started writing in class. So yeah, that's how it started.
Okay. Well, I just
we need that. We need that. We need that book from back then.
Run that.
And actually, I just found the manuscript for it. So I said I'm going to type it out, release it, and just let it do what it do.
Yeah, we need that.
That's gonna be good. That's gonna be really, really good. I'm excited.
So when did you all write your first book, and how old were you? I know you said you started at 12, but when you wrote your first book, like published it and all this good stuff, and how old were you?
When I put my first one out, I think I was like 31. I was in graduate school at SCAD. I went for film and television. Okay. So I was working on a project, but I kept hearing God say, write this. First of all, you're going to sit down, you're going to calm your nerves, and you're going to write this book. And I'm sitting there going, hello, I'm in school. I don't have time. I don't have time. And the Lord was like, so do you want to make time, or should I make the time for you? So when I got done staying up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning writing, I realized, you know what, God, I'm not gonna argue with you no more. We're gonna go and write, and we're gonna put it down. And so I literally, before, I think I had at least 2 weeks before the end of the semester, I wrote that book out at least less than 7 days after that.
He made that time.
I have a choice, and I kept this one that I wrote, Letters from That Generation, came about when I was about 25, and I was a student at Jackson State, but I was scared to put it out because the Lord said, "Oh no, you're gonna get this out." You know what, son? I just want to go to sleep. I'm tired with the class. No, you're gonna get up. You're gonna write. So that was how that came about.
Well, I know that feeling. How about you, Ty?
So that first one, Southern Jewel, I was 34. And that one was pretty much a lot of poetry, a lot of motivational things. I love humor because that's my family. Music and humor, that's pretty much sums it up. Mm-hmm. It's broken into only 4 chapters of the elements. So the first one is Earth, and Earth is just talking about all the motivational things, the affirmations and the things that keep us grounded and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then the second one is Fire. Fire is just talking about, first of all, I define what each one of them is. And with fire, fire can be good and bad. It can be destructive, but it can also make some things new. Yeah. It just depends on how you use it. And so what happened with fire is that it was basically what it is, feisty times when I might have been angry, times when I may have been head over heels for someone or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then water was the one that was just about purity and cleansing, and it's very emotional and Lord, why me, that type of deal. Yeah. And then that last chapter was air, just the things that the things that you can't touch. That's the spirituality. And you go through all these emotions all you want to, but at the end of the day, you still gonna have to turn it over to God anyway. Mm-hmm. You still gonna have to take your hands off of it anyway. Yeah. So that just those 4 the elements, those 4 chapters, that's what I wanted to do to start it out with. And I can still go back in there and find something for me. And it's almost 10 years old. That book is 9 years old, but I can still go back to this day and find something that I need right now. Yeah. Like right now. And there's no order. You can literally just flip to however you feeling that day, and bam, just find something for yourself. Mm-hmm. And just keep it going. And I wrote it like that on purpose because sometimes, especially now when we got audio and stuff like that, there are some people that think they're book readers, but they're not disciplined to just sit there and read like that. So I made it easy. I'm like, just read what you want to read. Just if all you want to read about is spirituality, just keep reading air. If you in a low place and you just want to pour emotions out and you want to just cry and let it out and you want to be in that place for a little while, go ahead and read water. Yeah. If you in love or if you got some fire in you and you just crunk, you on 10, whatever, fire, that's you all day long. All day long. But if you are grounded, you want to stay in a certain place, you want to keep that positive energy, and you are mature enough to not only do that for yourself, but other people, and you have poured into yourself and you can now pour into other folks, Earth, that's for you all day long.
Oh my God.
Yeah. We all have each other's books, by the way, too, y'all out there.
We do. Pam, do you have a book? If not, I'm going to send it to Pam in the book. I got it, please. Send me your address. I had to send it to you. I don't mean. Mm-hmm. But I wrote my first book last year, 2022. I was 38. Still 38. I'll be 39 in July. And I had experience like you, Tam. God was like, you asking me for something, but you're not doing what I'm asking you to do. You want me to heal you, but how can I heal you? You still don't want to hold on to these things. I need you to release that so I can give you what you're asking for. So it was kind of like, it's not crazy now, but to me at the time it was crazy how he laid it out because it started as a podcast and not knowing that God was writing my book for me. So after I did the podcast, gave them little snippets of my story, I think I had like a pause in my PhD because I was like, dang, Ty, this going on. I'm trying to finish my PhD. Not knowing God was like, we gonna put that on hold. You got to do this book. So I was like, might as well focus on it. So once I was like, but I always stopped at chapter 5. He was like, go get them notes from when we did the podcast and put it together, and that's your book. So once I did all that, I actually had 12 chapters. And and I was like, God, you wrote my book. But he did me just like he did you, Sam. It was like, we gonna stop. We're gonna stop this PhD. You gonna focus on this. We need to write this book because I want you to heal. And I think that was the best experience I ever had. And I'm glad that I did it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's nothing like when you obey God and then you actually see it out there.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I get like emails, or I've had people to write, I've had people to call. Like if they had my number, they would call and say, "Oh my God, I learned so much, and I can do this, and I can do that." And I'm just like, "Well, God, thank you. You know, to God be the glory."
Gotta be
I
glad.
just think He's the vessel that He chose to use. I wasn't expecting to be up all night, but I was so glad to be a vessel that He chose to use.
Yes. So, what do you all think will make a good story for a book? Go ahead, Ty.
Right now, I done talked enough. Tam.
You said, oh, that's what that was. Okay, go, Miss Tam.
So what I think would be a good book is learning. I guess for me, I would say learning myself in this pandemic. There are a lot of things that I learned concerning me, and a lot of things I had to realize that if had we not had to sit down and be quiet and just kind of just be in a safe zone in your home, you never would know, or I never would have figured out about me. I learned my weaknesses. I learned my strengths. I learned, okay, God, I'm not as strong in this area with you as I thought that I was. I learned how to pray. And people are like, girl, you grown. You supposed to be know how to pray. No, no, no. When you learn how to pray, not from a place of need, but from a place of relationship.
Mm.
And you learn how to talk to God in those, and you learn how to be more transparent. It's more for me. It was learning how to be more transparent. So I think that would be a good book for this time. And then to the crazy government people that we have.
Damn, about to make me run. I'm trying to keep my composure, but I can run. Okay, Miss Ty, what will make a good book for you? Who Jesus?
Honestly, there are so many topics. There are so many topics.
Yeah.
Right now though, a good book for me would be to talk about spirituality versus religion,
Oh yeah.
because
That
there's so much division where it shouldn't be division, but there's so much likeness that is underrated and it like almost invisible and non-existent. And we put a lot of focus on the wrong things when we shouldn't. And we will, the earth is the way it is for a reason. We have different cultures, we have different everything for a reason, because we come from a creator, we come from a creative. So that's why everything isn't the same. But that's also why you can find so much revelation in anything. You can find revelation in something that you see that's not moving, that's not breathing. You can find it in other cultures. You can find it everywhere. There is so many connections and there's so many similarities that we all have, but we don't really focus on those things. And because we got some nasty Christians.
Nasty. Like, I'm gonna leave that alone.
We got some nasty everythings.
I'm gonna do the church thing on that one.
But we still belong to God. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We still do. And everybody has their own way of saying that one thing. And so it's very touchy, it's controversial and all that good stuff, but it gets in the way. And there's a lot of things that get in the way and we don't even realize it. And it keeps us from loving the way we're supposed to love. It keeps us from being open-minded and instead of being so judgy. It keeps us from actually pursuing certain dreams, because maybe in this culture, you're not supposed to. People are getting killed in other countries for going to school, young women, girls, things like that being bombed now.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah. But there's so much division with religions and things like that. And it's hard. That's going to be one of those things that's going to just from now until the end of time, there's going to be division and differences and things like that. But at the root of it, your spirituality is starving.
Yeah.
You come from, you were created with so much love, with so many gifts, with so many things to offer the world, with so much royalty. But because things have been this way, and that's just how they're going to be, it's going to be a lot of all of that that's just never going to see the light of day, and it's just going to be in the grave. So I just really want people to explore outside of religion and focus on purpose.
My Lord.
Nothing is wrong with religion when you understand it, but there are people that claim religions, but they don't claim the requirements. The actual rooted requirements. And it's a freeing thing when you can get from up under that. It's a very freeing thing because you look at people with another type of eye. You treat people another way, and you treat yourself better.
True.
We honestly can't treat people the way they should be treated because we can't do that for ourselves. We can't. And some of us don't think we deserve it for whatever reason. That stifles so much. That stifles people from becoming authors. That stifles people from looking back at what they did when they was 12 and saying, you know what, I'm going to bring this thing to pass. It's stifling. I just want people to really get from up under that. Get not just religion. Get from up under your past. Get from up under your insecurities. Get from up under all of those things and just be and live and understand that you're here for a reason. And do it. Just do the darn thing. That's a good story. Just getting up from under stuff. Get up from up under stuff, And because you're meant to be on top anyway.
And to piggyback our view, to me, I feel as though a good story will be to talk about yourself and your life experiences and your traumas and your abusive, situations. Because people will look at us and think we never went through anything. But once you start opening your mouth and speaking out about your truth and what you have really gone through, it will blow people's mind. And to me, I feel as though that was a good story for me because people would never thought I have gone through what I've gone through because of the background of my family. I came from 3 strong Black women, and where I come from and who my mother was and great grandmother, and I'm like, no, it's more to this. Like after they died, this is what happened to me. And people be like, I didn't know that happened to you. So I feel as though being open and honest to people, letting people know who you really are and not this facade you're trying to put on for the public. Like, no, I'm a broken mess. This is just a mask I'm putting on for you, but behind this mask, I'm tore up from the floor up. So to me, I feel like just being your authentic self and letting people know this is the real me. That's a good story for me because some people can relate to that. Some people can relate to your story. You never know who you may be blessing with your story. That to me, that's just a good story. Along with what you all have said too. Because,
it is.
So, I believe thing too when you're a writer, when your audience can relate to you and you're being transparent and you're being open and honest, that to me, that's a bestseller. Even if it don't make Amazon, even if it don't make time for it, baby, that is a bestseller.
Yeah, you're right.
That's it.
True.
That's it. Purpose.
So, purpose. From pain to purpose.
Come on now. You better say that title up in here and plug it.
So you all was writing your book. What was the most surprising things that you all learned from creating your books? What surprised you all?
Sam.
Well, the thing that surprised me was actually allowing myself to feel what I was writing. It wasn't just something that's just right. And that's what God was trying to give me. I'm not giving you this just because it's something to write. You've always wanted to write a book. Okay, great. I'm giving you the opportunity, but feel what you're writing. Understand what you're writing. The thing that I understood the most about me at that time when I was writing was that for the longest, I had been, I don't necessarily want to call it shut down, but yeah, you could say it was. I was shut down for a lot of things. A lot of things, like I would say stuff, I would do stuff, and I would see things that weren't right. And people were always just like, you know, you don't have to address everything.
Yeah.
Well, why y'all not? I'm sitting up here, I'm looking at this, I'm seeing this, but y'all trying to make me think I'm not seeing what I'm looking at. So it's like taking the blinders when the Lord allowed me to get to that place where I could take the blinders off and just be real and authentic with what I was writing. That was a surprise for me because I never would have written half of the stuff that I wrote and been comfortable. Especially, you know, growing up in the Bible Belt of the South.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a lot. And some of the things that I did have to write, most people thought that I was just saying stuff or there she go again trying to agitate people. If it's agitating to you, must mean you need to work on it.
Uh-oh.
Well.
Amen, like in the words of my father. You know what I mean? So it's like I had to learn it's okay to speak. It's okay to be transparent. It's okay, and you will find as you write, you're gonna find so much out about yourself. You find out how creative you are, even when you're feeling all of your different emotions. Because life is gonna take you through seasons where you're gonna feel all of the seasons in one day. Sometimes it's distant. Sometimes it's sporadic. Sometimes it's in spaces that you didn't even know. I was my most creative when I was crying and laying out before God. And I allowed myself to be transparent before God. That was the most surprising. Now, people be like, girl, God know. Why you feel like he don't know? I knew he knew. But sometimes God wants us to just open your mouth and say what this is.
He do.
That's right.
If you can't admit this to me, and I know, and I see you every day, I'm with you every day, how you going to admit this to yourself and anybody else?
Word.
So it's like God was checking me on a lot. Excuse me, ma'am, I gave you a mouth. Why are you not talking? Well, God, because this one and this one and this one. So why are you not talking? Well, I experienced this and I did this and that. What's the point?
True.
Okay, God, let me start talking. I don't know what else to say.
What we here for?
That's right.
We happen to people.
Listen, I said, let me start talking before you start snatching my edges, and I can't hear this, so I'm gonna just go on around. I don't know what else.
Girl, you know those are just, and then that's hard to come at. You got to hang on to them now.
I got
it's like the price of eggs, honey. But if you got them, you better hold on.
Because look now.
Don't
be wasting them eggs and don't waste them edges.
I ain't fixed no eggs for a long time. They ain't got to worry about me. They ain't got to worry about me.
So when I realized how full them edges were, I said, God, no, we're not taking those.
That's right.
Yeah, what I mean.
That's right.
What about you, Ty? Surprising when you wrote your book?
You said the most surprising thing
you learned in creating your books?
That I got a long way to go. In a lot of areas. I love writing, but it's not enough to love writing. I have to be a writer. And a writer is a reader. A writer is a feeler. A writer is a thinker. A writer is a communicator. It doesn't mean you're an extrovert. It just means you're a communicator. And sometimes people get it twisted. And I had to realize that for whatever it is that you want to be, you need to invest in it. So if you want to be a writer, are you reading? if you want to be a writer, are you going to people? Are you getting advice, or are you just going on your own? You know, and every book that I've written, I'm on 4 now, 5 is coming. I can literally see the growth, and it just as far as like in the technical way. But now, and this goes back to what Tam said, being a filler. The first one, it was almost like poetry. It's okay. It's feeling. It's good. I can still relate to it, but it was easy. But jackpot, everything that glitters ain't gold. Now that goes a little over to the other side as far as truth. Because when I wrote the book, I always say that it is fiction. 90% of that book is true. So if you don't have it,
go get
that's your fire to light. I'm lighting that fire up under, because you know y'all want to know if something true. Y'all want to know, did it happen to girl? Did it? It did. So go get it. Jackpot, everything that glitters ain't gold. And my sister was telling me, she was like, you need to be more descriptive. I'm not, like you said, feeling. She was like, okay, don't just tell me the cup was red. I want to know what shade of red. I want to know the texture. Was it ceramic? Was it glass? Was it porcelain? Was it wood? Like, she was like, you have to be very descriptive, because it's not enough to write. You got to be able to write so that if the person was like this, they could see everything that you say.
My Lord.
No matter what, be very descriptive. And that's just technical things, But as far as the feeling, I was tiptoeing around so many emotions. But by the time I wrote, now the third one is just how to balance work and writing a book, because people were asking, how do you do it? It's just tips, stuff I did, whatever. But by the time I wrote Share the Crown is the 4th book that I wrote with my daughters, because I wanted to do something specifically with them that will be around forever. And they'll be able to see themselves in something that I did. And the point of the book was to get the real story. It shifts a little bit. It's from me to them. And it gets the story of, you have one daughter, she's the baby, it's just her. And now years later, literally years later, now you telling me I'm getting, not only am I going to be a big sister, but be a big sister to another girl. And y'all been telling me I'm the princess all this time.
Yeah.
So if I am the princess, who gets my crown? And that's in there. And I let them help me write some of it. And my daughter, Eden, she actually did the cover for me, because she knows how to draw, and she is a published artist now. But I let Tyra do some of the poetry. But it talks about, it gives tips to parents to let them know that they have thoughts too. They have feelings too. And they're having to accept these changes. And we're good at saying, oh, well, deal with it because you're a child, stay in a child's place. All that's good and true. But they're developing. As we're saying that stuff, they're developing and they're watching. So the things that we say affects not only how they view us as parents, but how they view the little sibling now. Because that rivalry can set in. So it's a book talking about that. But then at the end of the book, I dedicated that book to my sisters, because I'm a middle daughter. I have an older sister and a little sister now. And I dedicated it to them for blessing me to be able to see both sides of it. And I also dedicated it to women, whether they have siblings or not, and just don't know how to share the crown, or they think that something's going to be taken from them if somebody else succeeds, or if somebody else moves a little bit faster than they do. It's okay for everybody to have their own journey. And we always say, adjust your sister's crown. When you see adjust her crown, give it to her. Yours is straight. You can give it to her for a little while. It's okay. And another one. And another one, a queen's crown is never taken away.
Come on now.
It's never taken away. Never. And I wrote it for the children, but I also pushed it over into women because we having a hard time at work when these women come in and we don't know them and they look a certain way and they got these letters and credentials behind their name and they got this experience and they got this education and they got this car and they got this background and they got that man and they don't have no kids and they done been on them trips. The list goes on and on. But guess what? She got issues just like you got issues. And no, it ain't your business to know what they are. Just know she's human. And we got to learn how to give each other some grace.
True.
And share that crown.
The most surprising thing for me was that when I wrote my book was, I'm not finna get emotional. I was conditioned by my family to accept the abuse, the trauma, and the hurt that they caused me. And that just goes back to how I was raised. You know, my great-grandmother, grandmother, and mother, it was always family, family, family. And I just kept that in my head, but not knowing that my own family was hurting me and was conditioning me to accept what they was doing to me. So as I was writing my book, certain chapters, it kind of gave me chills. Certain chapters I cried. Certain chapters I was like, wow, this really happened to me. But those were the surprising things for me, that I was accepting things from my family that was not acceptable at all. And I didn't have nobody to fight for me. And it's like, honestly, I was really fighting for myself. Like I was literally trying to stay above water. So just writing my book and those chapters, it was kind of like, wow. That was surprising things to me and write my book. So how was y'all work schedule while writing your book? Like, were you able to balance it, or how was your work schedule while writing your book?
My schedule, like I said, I didn't have a choice. So I go to school during the day, in the evening, get done with everything, and then sit down and write till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm working scheduled now for a book that I'm working on. I usually write on the weekends, or either out as I can during the week if I don't have like meetings or Zoom meetings or anything like that. I usually just sit down and write. Or either if we slow at work, take out some paper and write these ideas down and type it out. It may not come in order, but we're going to get it together before it's published. Quiet. You in my business. All right.
Tell us, child. Well, I was like you. I think I did mine on the weekend. I did it when I could. But like I said, the Lord had to kind of push my PhD to the side for a minute. So when I had downtime, like if I get out of work, that's when I did mostly my writing and creativity for my book. And I did like a whole weekend. Because that weekend I published my book, my truck got towed.
Oh.
But yeah.
that will mess with your focus if no nothing else.
Yeah. Lord, that's how I was able to write my book, though. God pushed my PhD to the side for a minute, and I was able to focus on it. What about you, Ty?
During that time, working. Prior to writing that book, I had been laid off twice. I promise I ain't get fired, y'all. I got laid off. If you worked at Saks Incorporated and you know they switched over from Mack raised to belt, and they took us out outside and had that meeting. Somebody, I know you've been hearing the rumors. Give me my severance check. Thank you. Anyway, so that was one of the layoffs. And what was the other one? The other layoff I don't remember what that one was, but after that, I started working for the VA. So I've been there since 2015, and just like you said, squeezing it in. The weekends, the weekends is actually not when I write at all, because that's when I want my mind to be free, and I'm the self-care, want to light candles and sit around and do foot scrubs and stuff like that. So I write throughout the week, but I would always make sure I had something on me to record whatever the thoughts was and write it down, jot it down, and like you tell, I put it together later on. But over the weekend, I can't sit down and I can't do it. I just can't sit down and write. I did that like one time, and it was good. That's for book 5, and that one is called "I Don't Want to Take a Bath." When I say it's gonna be something else, I'm gonna be. He finna pull some stuff out. This finna be a detox. I'm talking about parasitic. That's gonna require. I ain't gonna have no say so in when I write that. But for the most part, it's just whenever it comes. And jackpot, that was kind of true. So I ain't have to.
You just were able to flow with that.
Right.
Yeah. This was gonna take a little more time, but I mean, you just when you can't sleep, a lot of times we be like, I can't sleep, I'm watching Netflix. No, you're a writer. You got to sometimes you have to remind yourself that you're a writer. You have to remind yourself of what you actually are, so that you will get disciplined and do those things. It's like, no, you got some thoughts. And I write a lot of speeches too, for speaking engagements and stuff like that too. So I write them and save those. But when you can do just whenever I can do it, I do it between work, at work. So don't tell nobody, because I know how folks are. She be doing. Everything I do from 5 to 9. I do it during my 9 to 5 and do. Just balance everything. Because I ain't gonna tell y'all. Somebody brought me my whole manuscript of a project. You left this on a printer, didn't it? Listen, you got to use that color ink when you can. But that's a whole nother story. I love working in the office. We be using that equipment. However, but I do have it at home because COVID. I had a home office and all that stuff too before I moved, because I'm not in Mississippi no more. I'm in Alabama, so I'm still in a Bible belt. I'm just like on the buckle. I'm like sitting on the belt buckle right there, the front, like right there. I'm on the buckle in Alabama.
So where did your ideas, motivation, and inspiration from to write your books? Like, where did that come from? Your ideas, motivation, inspiration to write the book. You kind of touched on some of it.
I can say for me, I saw a video on Facebook on this little blue app that's ratchet sometimes and ghetto. This young lady was videoing her daughter. She had her daughter twerking. It was like a little bitty girl. And she was twerking. And the little girl is like, she had some bounce. And I said, now, wait a minute. She's doing this better than me. And I'm going to, okay, well, I'm going to shut up. But at the same time, I got very disturbed because I'm like, that's not cute.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, you have so many pedophiles in the world. You don't know who's watching, who's living around you. And you may be giving them access and not even realize.
Ooh, that's right there. That's a preach.
Right.
And I'm sitting up here going, God, my generation, I don't know. I just think he's just too relaxed. And so that's how Letters to My Generation came about. And I always said it, and I even put it in the book. It's not to bash the millennials, because I'm a millennial. I was like, it's not to bash us, but it's to help us. Hey, you got to reel that in. Some things that we think is cute is cute to us, but when you look at it and you go back and you wonder why she was touched, or you wonder why somebody was able to grab her, or somebody was able to snatch her or him, you kind of help with that. And then the other, a lot of times when we travel, we always put where we're going. I'm like, folks be watching your house and you don't know.
They need to stop.
Right. So what I have learned to start doing is, okay, I post it when I get back. You run up in this house and you might run up on some lead.
Sometimes I post my location staying in my own lane or staying out the way. You don't need to know.
I've seen that.
Because I'm not gonna give you access to me like that. And then the other part of that is it's just even when we go to church. I don't know if y'all have experiences in church. It's like everybody's just so particular with their denomination. I grew up Church of God in Christ. I told you if y'all have heard of it. Still apart, but sometimes I feel like we go. We're different sometimes. But at the same time, like just because you told you, or you Baptist, you Methodist, United Methodist, whoever you are, that don't mean you got to open seat in the, in the kingdom.
True.
Some of us about to kick and bust hell wide open. So your denomination, your religion, all that stuff don't matter.
They don't.
If you ain't got a relationship with God,
thank you.
You ain't getting in.
Yeah.
And I had to learn. Even writing that book, the Lord was letting me know. He said, I'm trying to get you to open up so you can have a relationship with me. I don't care nothing about this religion or denomination. If that's what you feel like, it's going to get you in. You have already missed me. So sometimes even getting the inspiration, sometimes God had to just break me on down. And I just be like, well, God, you have to shut me down like that, man.
He be broken. Sometimes we be like, golly.
Right. I ain't got no gravy, no sauce, no Coke, no Sprite, no nothing. Just straight out. And God is just like, no, because if I'm lenient with you, I know you. You forget. I birthed you. Yeah. I knew you before your mom said it to you. I knew your little personality. Sorry, y'all, if you see my personality, it's a little goofy. I'm sorry. But I know how far you're gonna go. Before So let me reel you on in and let you know, hey, ain't no game over here. This ain't no game. You want a relationship or not? And you're not gonna pit me either. Come to me only stuff, or you need help, or you're trying to push your book. I already got that taken care of. Just give me the relationship is what I need. And so you have to learn that. Even with inspiration with writing your book, you have to learn that. Okay, guys, so what is it that you want to say? I've learned I'm just the oracle. That's not even me. I'm putting his thoughts out. So that was part of the inspiration too. But the thing was,
come on.
You got to say it with love. With love and kindness have I done. You have to say this with love. So don't get out here trying to beat somebody up. It's the same thing if you mount a pulpit. Don't get up there and beat people up with the Bible. Show them love. Pull people in. So if you're showing love and you're giving love and you're being transparent in what you're writing, oh, baby.
That's good there.
Come on now.
Right there.
Indeed. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I guess for me, mine was just kind of like when I did my radio interview with Miss Colleen and Mr. Gooch. Kind of like, you need to write your book. And I was like, okay, I'm going to write this book. So that was my ideas coming from. You have to go ahead and write it. Tell your story. You're trying to heal, baby. Tell your story. So my motivation and inspiration came from them. Also reading like Thai books and the Pace books. And when I was like, man, these folks really telling their story. I'm going to tell mine too, because I want to heal. I want these things I'm asking for. I can't get it because I'm broken. Trashing myself, like codependent. So let me release some of these, tell my story. And so that's what I did. That's what my ideas, inspiration, motivation came from. And I'm happy I did it because now I'm at peace. I feel free. And can't nobody let me tell you about Teressa. No, you can't tell nothing about Teressa because Teressa stuff is in her book. You don't know something about me? Go get it.
Run to the source. Thank you.
Okay, run me my coins if you want to know.
There you go. If you want to know, you know what? That's a good way to look at this. If you want to know my business, run me my coin.
Run me my coin.
That's right.
Yes.
You got to pay for it.
You got to pay for it. Go and get it. Because I ain't leave nothing out. I was very transparent. I was very open. What you read is who I was. See, I said who I was, but not who I am now, who I was. So,
exactly.
Yeah, run and get that if you want to know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
What about you, Ty? Well, you kind of pushed on some of your stuff.
The motivation to write.
Mm-hmm.
The motivation to write comes from the promise that me and God made to each other.
No, my Lord. Looking for.
I had an incident where I used to get sick a lot. I'm talking about hospital, ER, sick a lot. And this particular time when I got sick, my youngest daughter was 1 and she was still in the playpen. You know, when you get in the ER, whatever, you can't bring anybody with you. So not only was she 1, but she had to stay in the house. I had to call like a neighbor to like try to get there as I was leaving and leave the door unlocked and all that stuff like that. And she was 1 year old because my oldest daughter wasn't there at the time at all. And so they were taking me on the ambulance and I could like see myself leaving the house because at the time I still stayed in the house in Jackson. And literally, y'all, I heard the words, "It is up to you whether you make it home."
Oh, my Lord.
Because there was a lot of things that I was being disobedient about, not just about writing and being consistent with that, but just me. Because I went through a period of blaming people that was so bad because of my finances, and I was hitting these roadblocks with the being laid off and stuff like that. And it was like, no matter what I did, and I'm a hustler, I'm one of them type of people. I done cooked, I done catered, I done made baskets, I done did hair, I've done everything, and I feel like I still couldn't make ends meet. And I really wasn't. My expenses weren't high, but they weren't low. And I was blaming. I had blamed the whole church. Lord bless their heart. I blamed the church because I was like, y'all give to certain people, and I've been coming there, and the real people that need help because you don't see their name with all these big ties. They can't tie because they need help. So it's I'm talking about I was blaming. So and I had got so mad at the world that I didn't want to even have nobody call me talking about God gonna fix it. Like I hung up on my biological sister because she tried to speak positively to me. I had got in that place where stuff was just not going like I wanted it to in no area. And I did that for 3 or 4 months, like not taking calls, quit the church. I'm talking about I wrote a letter to the preacher first. And I'm talking about it was y'all. That transparency is real. I was blaming so bad. That was the longest ER ride. He said, I got your baby. You in the ambulance right here. But I got your baby over there. And only you know how the rest of this story gonna go. So what I need you to do is stop it. Because where you are comes from the decisions that you made, not the options that you were given. The decisions that you made, the way you thought, the way you perceive things, the way you handle certain things. That's why you're going through what you're going through. It has absolutely nothing to do with everything else, but it has everything to do with you and your disconnect to me. Because everything that you want, I have, but you're trying to knock on everybody else's door to get it. And that's why I won't even let them answer you.
Oh my God.
So I'm still in the thing. I'm still in this whole, I'm still in the back of the ambulance, still going. And I was like, literally from now on, the opportunities that you give me, it's a yes. It's an automatic yes. Unpaid yes. Volunteer yes. It's yes. I'm gonna do it.
Obedience.
And I went through probably a year of doing unpaid events, just stuff, just to do it, just to bless other people, just to be present. And just to tell people, every day is your chance to do whatever it is, whatever that title is that you're seeking. You already have it. You just got to do the work. Don't blame anybody else for what it is that you do not have right now. Focus on you and look at what it is that you're doing. Cause y'all, I can't say everything, but I was a hot mess with all of this stuff in me that I was supposed to be pursuing and letting it come out. I was wanting it to be given to me. And he was like, I know what my name is, but you depending on your name? You depending on your name? I ain't made your name great yet.
That's good.
Yeah.
You want things to happen to you quickly and for you quickly for what? Who are you?
Oh, that's heavy.
No, really, like Tam. No, really. I'm still in the car. I'm still in the ER. I'm still hooked up and stuff. And that's when you got to say, nobody, nothing without you.
Mm-hmm.
Surrender. Let it go.
And when I tell you, so much has changed and so much has popped off. And it is that even when you make the promise to me, it's still, even when you do those things, it's still not for you. It's for other people. Other people are sitting on their hands. They got a story. They got gifts. They got all these things. I just want people to see. My kids, even though I was laid off, they never saw me not work. Never. They was gonna always see me making money. They was gonna always see me doing, and they helping. And yes, stuff, put that, hand me that plastic, hand me them gifts, hand me them baskets, wrap this, tie this bow, and put. You gonna help me too. You need to be able to do something. Cause mama ain't gonna always be here.
My Lord.
How I know? Mine ain't here.
Mine ain't either.
But before you can be of service to anybody else, you have to take away all that blame and all of that hurt and all of that just doubt and fear, like all that stuff, all that negative stuff, and just do it. Even if it's just one time to see if it's your thing. Because we got so many gifts and we do owe that. We owe it. We owe it all back to God. We really do. And we don't know how long we got to do it. And I can't be wondering what if. So I'm like, I'm not even moving fast enough for me. People think I'm doing a lot. To me, I'm not doing enough. Because it's so much. It's so much that comes after you start to get your feet wet in some stuff. Next thing you know, this is happening and this is happening. Like he was like, I ain't think I was gonna write no book. It came from your obedience in other areas.
So how many
things
books
that we do?
How many books?
Yes.
Which one is your favorite?
Of my books?
How many books have you written and which one is your favorite?
4. My favorite has not been released yet.
Okay.
Because I already know it's gonna be I don't want to take a bath.
Which one is yours?
I already know. I got 2 kids. And I just want to say I don't understand why kids will do stuff like run the water and sit beside it. And don't get in.
Killing me.
I don't understand why, like they can smell themselves, and you can smell them, but they don't think they gotta do nothing about it. Or maybe they think how they look is gonna make up for how they smell.
You don't.
I don't know how come kids take a bath and they see the ring they left in there, but they don't wash it out.
Girl, not
or they want somebody else to do it. But think about how people are like that in real life. How you want somebody else to clean up your messes. How you wait too long to clean up something that you know you need to fix like right then. How many of us got some stuff on us that we think can't nobody see, but they can almost smell it on us?
My
Lord. It's so strong.
Jesus Christ.
You got the babes, people. You got the babes. Babes your spirit, people. Babes your thoughts. Babes your mind.
We need to play. What to play that? Because God
Listen.
knows.
You got the babe. We don't want some man.
That'll preach.
And look, stop standing at that sink. Stop standing at the sink. That ain't enough water.
Get up in that shower.
What about you, Miss Tam? How many books have you written, and what is your favorite?
I have written 4, but I've released 2. But my favorite is the one that I'm working on now, which is called Letters to the Church. Because in that book, we're gonna deal with some stuff. Because I've realized it wasn't that we're not meant to just be here, just go to church, go to work, eat, sleep, poop, pee, whatever it is you do, and then go to bed and do the same thing over. A lot of things, we had so much religious stuff that kept us bound that we could not just enjoy life. Every time you look up, God is sending you to hell. And I realized, I said, you know what? In the body of Christ, He's made God this big mean bully.
Yep.
That birthed you, but knew you were born of a sin nature, but He's gonna send you to hell for everything?
Everything.
Everything. I said, even from childhood, it's a lot of stuff I had to unlearn. It's a lot of stuff I had to relearn and just learn it from a relationship point instead of a religious point. And this one I know, and I told my sister, I said, I think I know, because my sister is going to co-author that with me. I said, I know it's some stuff we're going to get some backlash for. But I'm going to do it scared.
Because some people need to unlearn some things, unlearn some behaviors.
Listen, and get rid of this narcissistic view that we have.
Yes.
Amen. Right.
That's heavy. That's real heavy.
That's gonna be good.
And the other
gonna be real.
There's so much stuff is going on from the pulpit on down. I said, but stuff in the pulpit we don't deal with because we were taught you don't walk in that office, so you can't correct me. If you're a child of God, I'm a child of God. God is our Father, Jesus is our big brother, and we got the Holy Ghost as a comforter. What makes me unqualified to tell you when you're wrong? But you can set up in the pulpit and a wife on the side, probably boyfriend too. But you preach.
Somebody please pass the offering plate.
You know, I'm out here. You know, I drink the wine here and there. Somebody may cuss here and there, but you gonna tell me I'm going to hell because I'm laid up with this one and laid up with that one. But you, when you get out the pulpit, you over here, you over there. You got a girlfriend in every state, some kids in every state. You know, oh. So God don't see you. So I'm gonna go to hell. Right. I'm gonna go together there since we're going.
Jesus.
I'm gonna go. I may as well tell the truth and shame the devil. I mean,
come on.
Well, I just read.
But I'm sitting up at work, literally have written like about 10 letters. I said, "Wait a minute, God, I'm supposed to be working. What is going on?"
He's trying to bring whatever's in you out. You got the stuff to say.
Out. And I told God, I said, you know what, God, it's a lot of stuff we have not dealt with, and we've messed a lot of people up. So people are coming to church, they're hurting.
Yes.
We don't have the healing to help them get. Because all we do is stop crying and give it to the Lord.
Pray about it.
And go to therapy. You crazy. No, you need Jesus in therapy. We got to get rid of some stuff so you can live and enjoy your life. So you can stop passing down these generational curses.
Listen!
I don't want to come down a child that's unnecessary for my child to have. I ain't got none right now. I got 2 godchildren. I said I will not bleed on my godson. I will not bleed on my nephews that I helped to raise.
Woo!
I bleed on them. I got to get it together.
Y'all have Jesus in therapy. Did you hear that? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And get somebody that you. I always say this: when you're trying to find a therapist, pray about who you go to, because you need somebody that's going to tell you the truth, the unadulterated. It's going to make you mad. You're going to cry. I ain't paying you no more money, and they still going to call you and be on. You can be mad, yeah, you can be mad, but you're going to come and sit up here on this couch and you're going to get this up out of you.
And I know the people picky when they come to therapy. Like, I want a black therapist. My therapist was Caucasian. When I tell you she let me have it, she let me have it. I went in like with my chest swole. I came with my chest back in, baby. She's like, she was boom. I was like, God, man. She was not playing. It don't matter what color the person is. Like she said, just make sure you pray about it and let them tell you how it really is.
I second that.
Bashing myself, like she just went in on me. I felt this small, but it was true. It was the truth.
And get you some friends that's gonna tell you the truth. Now, one thing I can say, as long as I've known Ty, I've always told me the truth. I can be mad, and I may not even tell her, Ty, now you made me mad now. You know, I know she don't care. Well, you be all right. You gonna get together though.
Yep, that's Ty.
I had to keep people around me that would do stuff, so you can understand, Tam. This is where you are. This is where you see yourself. I was telling my mom, I said, you know what? I can't really get help until I can see what everybody else is seeing, because I'm gonna keep bucking.
My God,
you got. I can tell you about me, Miss Tam. I'm a very sweet person, but you know, you cross that side, and New Orleans shit will come out. I had to tell God this, and the Lord just had me lay down prostrate before Him 3 days. Before you release this book, you're not gonna bleed on the people. You're gonna give this book with love and kindness. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna tell the truth.
Yep.
And I said, God, if I cannot be transparent with you, as He told me before, I can't be transparent with myself. I can't be transparent with you. So God, this right here has angered me. This right there has angered me. Somebody said this. Somebody understanding where your triggers are. Understanding even when you write, even if you have to write those heavy topics, it's okay to pull back sometimes and say, God, let me breathe for a second. I got to breathe for a second because this is heavy.
Yeah.
When you write, those of you who are scared to go ahead and put their book out, let me tell you something. Do it scared, because I did.
And
God, I'm not gonna read. People know me. I'm not gonna read this. Oh, damn, I'm trying to be one to shit. If you think I'm all that in a bag of chips, guess what? I am. So guess who's gonna walk right now? Let me sit pretty.
Period. Pooh. Exclamation mark.
That part. And don't let people tell you, and you know, don't let people get in your head. Writers, don't let people get in your head, because the minute they get in your head, you're gonna stop writing.
Yep.
You write whatever God gave you to write, and you write it how He told you to write. No ifs, ands. Please don't be like me and have to be punished and stay up 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning trying to write something that God been told me to write and I ain't do it. Listen to
Especially when you ask God for something. If you asking God for something, it's going to be uncomfortable. But if you asking Him for something like I was, you got to be obedient. And
it's going to make you uncomfortable. Some things you may think, I thought I was over there. I learned that so much in life. I thought I was over there. No, you buried it in the back of your mind, but you're going to get it out today. Right.
Yeah.
So did you self-publish or publish? Did you all self-publish or traditional publish? Like, how did y'all publish y'all book?
So, I think at that time I went through Create Space to do mine, because I was like, God, I don't have $600 to pay nobody to edit.
Yeah, I self-published too. Thanks to Ty Patterson, I self-published because I didn't know what I was doing.
Well, I did both, and the first one I did not publish myself because I wanted to get some information about the process. And when I say the process is knowing who the libraries are, knowing where your bookstores are, knowing who has radio stations, and knowing how you can get on the air and stuff like that. And actually really go out there. And I did a lot of grassroots things, like taking my book to certain places and stations and just However, that was back in the Create Space days as well. But what happened to me, and that's why I self-published from then on, was when somebody else publishes your book, yeah, you wrote it, but it's kind of theirs because they're the ones that's going to publish it under their name. So what I'm going through right now is my first book was published under someone else's account, and Create Space technically doesn't even exist anymore, but it moved over to Kindle publishing and Amazon and all that stuff like that. Well, because I don't have access, I will never know when my books actually sold, I've had people tell me that they bought my books in other countries. There's a seminary that has one of my books, but I ain't seen no royalties. I haven't seen money and reports and all that stuff like that. Contract was null and void probably about 2 years after I wrote the book. So I'm going through those things to where basically, yeah, I wrote it because this person published it, it's really theirs because they are the ones that are selling so I would never know how much. I don't know. They just kind of do with it. So that's not a good experience. I'm still dealing with it. But everything else, of course, self-published. I don't want a third party ever again. If there is a third party, it's going to be a huge name, or it's going to be a company that wants to turn it into a film. It's going to go that direction because that opened the door up for me to do, because I love script writing and all that stuff too, which I'm actually doing now. But I wouldn't do that ever again. I do a lot of consulting work for people that have questions about stuff like that. But for me, the internet can be your very best friend. Stop doing foolishness on the internet and go get you some free information on how to do this stuff. Whatever it is that you want to do, if you don't want to invest in it and you don't have the funds, there is free information that's out there. We look up everything else, but we don't want to look up what we need. So I looked up a lot of information myself, and it helped me and get a target audience. It's very easy to say, oh, my book is for everybody. It's not. That's very hard to accept, but it's not. You do need a target audience, and you need to dig, and you need to really hone in on that audience so that you can reach the folks that really, really, really need it. It's okay if somebody just, oh, I know her, and just reads it and put it down. But the book is supposed to do more than that. So know who your target is so that you can make sure that it gets in the right hands. Because the way the world going now, all of us, this could be a Tubi movie.
Okay.
Like this right here, this could be a Tubi movie right now.
Fix.
So use all your technology, use all your resources, and you ain't got no excuse no more. Basically, what I'm saying is, ain't no more excuses.
You basically the next question, because I was like, you have any suggestions for the people who are the you just keep going.
Stop trying to look, and y'all that know people that know how to do everything, stop trying to avoid calling them because you know them and giving your money to other people because you think they got more credentials.
Ooh. Oh my God.
Because I know what I know. She know what she know. And she know what she know. And we are all professionals. Stop recycling, folks, and branch out. That's why you ain't went nowhere. You don't want to call nobody new.
Yeah, God done pulled me out some things I didn't even know I had in me.
I'm serious. We all know so many people that are great at wonderful things, but yet we study recycling people. Or I don't want to call her. I don't want to pay her. I'm just calling. Your money gonna go somewhere. Your time gonna go somewhere.
They done got complacent and comfortable.
But then you gotta understand, you branch out for some people, and some people will play you, but it's the ones that you don't want to call that really can help push your stuff. To be honest,
yeah.
You know, because everybody don't have the best interest at heart, but you'd be surprised how many people are waiting on you to say, "Hey, I got this product, I got this book, I got this that I'm trying to do." They've been sitting there waiting on you.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's
can tell
true.
you that from
and
a lot of people. my book out. I was waiting on you. Oh, I didn't know. So they waiting. They waiting. So yeah.
And my suggestion is just ask for help. Ask for help. Don't be scared to ask for help. Like I wrote my first book and I have a lot of hiccups in my book and I do not care.
It's out there. It's already out there.
Real friends, like people would buy my book, but you know, they it's good, because I was getting all the feedbacks. But it took a real friend to say, hey, this was missing, this, you need to do this. And it took a pay sister. I'm not bragging, but there's a pay something, hey, this needs to, it's a good book, but this, that's the type of people you need in your circle. So, okay, take notes. So next time you write your book, you know what to look for. And like Ty was like, it's very descriptive, but what would have made it pop if you had a picture of your mother. So get people like that in your circle who's going to give you real feedback about your book. So next time you write, because it's going to be the next time when you write your book, you know the do's and the don'ts.
Yep.
I would also say, for me, for my first book, my sister was my editor. My sister Erica is very good with documentations and proofreading and all that. I didn't have the money to pay her, but when I did get the money, I did pay her. And I did let her know, she's like, okay, cool. But here's the thing. Don't go get Pookie now from around the way. If they can't read and talk, they're well, because you don't want to pay nobody. Get you some friends. They understand what you're saying that can help you edit if you can't pay an editor.
Don't go get
okay. It's okay. Even if you I still had access to a couple of my college professors. I would, hey, can you read this? Can you tell me? Can you? Sam, this is good. You left out a word here, or maybe you didn't finish the word or something. I'm kind of lost on what you were saying. And they circle what they had to do. Yeah. Boom. Let's go back and edit.
But I also tell people when they read my book, I wrote my book how my life was really going, and my life was not consistent. So it's not going to have floetry. But get people in your circle who going to help you out and ask for help.
Yeah.
Help.
And if you don't have that, it's okay to get by yourself and get isolated and do that, because there are some people who will read it and critique it just to actually make you feel bad. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And there will be some that will genuinely get. I'm still getting ideas. Like on this last book, somebody brought it to my attention some more illustration that was needed, because it's more wording, it's more than illustration. So it's a process. You're gonna always learn, but keep at it. Stay consistent. Get on social media. Use these other outlets to promote. And don't sell yourself short. Even if don't be the person that says, well, I just have one book. No, you are an author that has a book. So you have to start seeing yourself a certain way. Show, teach people how to treat you and put that stuff out there and market. And if somebody is getting tired of you, they know how to press snooze. That's your page.
You can hit the follow button anytime. You don't have to follow me and keep up with my life. I know I'm grand, but you ain't got to keep up with me.
Yeah,
but what you don't want to hit that button.
Keep up with them books. Keep up with them castings. Keep up. Like we're trying to do some really, really big things. All of us actually that you see are doing really, really big things that we have not even touched on yet, because this is about books. But there's a lot of big other things that we're doing. But this is just the start of it, and we're just trying to encourage anyone out there. Don't be afraid of hurting someone's feelings either. Just because you wrote the book, it's some people that want that hope you don't never open your mouth and don't never start that thing. And that's where that battle come in. Mm-hmm. But the thing is to know who you're battling with. It don't matter about so-and-so now want you to write it. The enemy really don't want you to write it. Mm-hmm. If he can get you to hang on to some stuff about you and to hang on to some doubt or whatever, you won't ever accomplish it. You'll just kind of say, I'm not good enough, or making excuses. Do it, do the errors, do whatever, do it scared, all that stuff, because you have time to tweak it and brush up on it and polish it and make it better. But holding on to it and making excuses, You're only hurting yourself. And somebody's, just like Tam said, somebody literally is waiting on you to make that step. And you can do it. You have so many resources. We're here because we're letting you know that we are officially now your resources. So definitely reach out to us, do whatever it is that you want to do, and more things are coming. And affirm yourself. Don't just do it, but affirm yourself as an author, as a best-selling author that is going to reach the masses, that is going to take you somewhere else. Go ahead and speak those things that are not as though they were, because the truth is, it actually is yours. You just have to believe it. Nobody on here is better than anybody else. Nobody else on here, there's no picks and chooses. There's just decisions. That's it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you have to understand what you are doing. Don't be worried about nobody being no hater. You have haters everywhere. They hate on you not. You put your product out. And imagine how mad they gonna be when you put it out and that thing take off. Sometimes take off. Way for where you need to be, and you will be surprised. Do you a vision board if you have to? I've done that plenty of times. God, I want to write more books. And other things that I've done, other red carpet events. People sitting up here looking just like, Tam, you flying from here to Atlanta every week? Baby, if that's what you see and that's what you speak it, and I receive it.
I receive it.
Yes, go. That's another thing too. Be present. Go to events. Go ahead and invest in yourself and quit. I know we got a whole lot of good eating places, but don't let them get all your money. Go to some events that have some substance, even if it's not about you. Go support somebody else. Just be in the room. Be in the room. Learn how to support other people too. That's another thing too. A lot of us, we just really don't know how to. When I moved here to Alabama, I was like, before I tell anybody anything about me, I need to see who having what so I can go.
And you were doing
so I can show up.
And I say, go.
There's people that look, I be making folks know me. They probably don't. They be like, I don't really know, but she always be around and she always smiling and she done found me on Facebook and she always saying, yep, that's me. I ain't a stalker. I am a cheerleader by nature. I cheer people on. Because if I don't do it, I practice with cheering for myself. You know what I'm saying? So support other people and get in the habit. And I asked the Lord, I was like, Lord, I love the feeling that I get from helping other people, but I like to give, so you're gonna have to make me rich.
Yeah,
that part.
That part.
Rich and wealthy. Got enough for me and can still be
rich, wealthy, and healthy.
It's just, and I learned it from my mama. Even when we was giving away stuff when we didn't even know we was broke, she was like, "Don't give nobody nothing. You know you won't want. If that baby doll arm got one arm missing, throw it in the garbage. Don't get nobody that. You done drew on it." You done gave us, just don't get nobody no trash. Materialistically or from yourself on the inside. Don't get nobody no trash. Because we want too much for ourselves. And I had gone to church and this lady, she preached so good, y'all. And she said, Lord, before I ask you to put anything in me, Lord, take this stuff out first.
And
that is actually a part of success.
The main foundation is God. The main foundation is putting him first. You have to get in a place and a position where you hear him. Don't just go out there and do stuff just say because you see somebody else doing it, because that may not be your calling. That may not be your journey. That may not be what God wants you to be. You have to get in a position to ask God, okay, God, I'm surrendering. What is your will for me? Because we can make a plan for ourselves all day, but God has a blueprint for our life. And
that's right.
If you want something from God, you have to ask him. God is not a genie. God, like Miss Tam said, God be waiting on us. He know what we want, but he still want us to ask him for what we want. So just be mindful. If that's what you want, like she said, write it down. I write my stuff down all the time, and I say it every morning. I declare and I decree such and such, such and such. I declare and I decree. This is every morning routine for me because I know what I want from God, and I know what I am capable of doing. So if you have that, do those things. Don't share your dreams with everybody, because some people are dream killers. Some people will pray for you, and some people will PREY over you. So be mindful of what you do and who you say things to. Honestly, everybody.
If they don't kill them, they'll steal them.
They're gonna steal them.
You ever been around somebody that didn't want to let you know they wanted to be you? So they just kind of picked your brain a little bit.
And they
There's a difference there's a difference between being motivated by somebody and being manipulative.
True.
Because there's work that came along with me being who I am and doing what I'm doing.
Okay.
And sometimes people will latch on to you so they can pick your brain and get certain things without doing the work. You know what I'm saying? So you really have to you can't really do anything about that, because I do still believe that what is for you is for you, but everybody can't have access to you, especially when you know what you're trying to do. And because that's coming. Just because you are trying to do something really, really big, you got to be even more discerning about who you give your time to, your attention to, and who you let have access to you, because all of it's not going to come from a good place, a genuine place, a sincere place. So you just kind of got to have one eye open a little bit, but always be positive about everything that you're trying to do, and be willing to put in the work and see yourself at the winning portion of whatever it is that you want to do, versus seeing yourself in a struggling place or a middle place.
So I want to say to the person that doesn't feel like they're worthy of what God has given them, you're enough and you're worthy. He wouldn't give it to you if he didn't trust you with it. Doesn't matter your past, don't matter what anybody tell you. It doesn't matter. This person says you ain't pretty enough. You too fat. You too big. You too skinny. You too small. You ain't got enough hair. You ain't all that. Let me tell you something. God ain't looking at none of that.
Nope.
But he gave that to you for a reason. And if you go and you do what he told you to do, trust and believe, your struggle days, you ain't going to have them anymore now.
Like I always say, obedience releases blessings.
Oh, yeah.
And I say that obedience releases blessings. And don't worry about what nobody else say, because God created you in his image anyway. And God sees your heart. So don't worry about what nobody else say, and make sure you being obedient so you can get your blessings. Period. So do y'all have new projects coming out? If so, let the people know what to look for. What are we doing now?
We have Letter to the Church will be out soon, hopefully before the end of the year. We're still working on that. I have a couple of scripts that I'm working on. In case y'all didn't know, I'm a filmmaker as well. So working on some stuff. Also working on, I can mention, I'm working on a talk show. So, but we'll see.
Oh, okay.
God is giving me the blueprint to do, and that's what we're going by.
Oprah Winfrey.
Listen,
I've been saying that.
Oh, I've been calling you Tyler Perry, female Tyler Perry, so.
That is my prayer. And I said, you know what, God, I got some, and God gave me some people to go to. Amen. So I'm getting everything together so I can go to them. And we can get some things going. I said, God, if I can help not just me, but the people that I know, the people that God gave me that I can see visually, those are the people that I've been in contact with. So that's what we're working on. So y'all just keep watching out. We're gonna have some stuff going.
What about you, Ty?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
First of all, I want y'all to go to my website for all the content, all the stuff that I do. And it is www.phenomenalgifts.shop. That is where you can book me for events. That's where you can get links to the books. That's where you can actually also be plugged into my IG, because I'm always giving like health tips and all these herbal recipes and stuff like that, tutorials, all of that. So I'll give you a little background history. And it's also to my YouTube page as well. All those links are there. So if you go to that website, you can definitely find me. As of right now, March is looking like really, really busy. One of the events I'm still up in the air about, so I won't say it just yet, but I am co-writing a project with someone, and we're set to film in March during spring break. And right before that, I'll be playing a prosecutor for a film in Atlanta. And some of the scenes will be shot at Tyler Perry Studios. And the other scenes would be shot in I think it's Morrow, Georgia. Is it Morrow? Morrow, Georgia. So far that's it because I'm trying to give myself a break. Just because I don't know what's coming up, and I do need to start working on that last book. So far that's pretty much it. But I am open. I ain't really just turning stuff down. Y'all connect with me.
That's not it. You're gonna put a comma right there, right?
Yes, you put a comma. Well, of course, I'm trying to finish this PhD. I do have Speak Iconic with Teressa, which is my new and upcoming baby where I want to travel to do motivational speaking. Also, of course, I'm a podcaster. I'm not working on a new book just yet because I'm trying to close this PhD out. But it's other people that have been reaching out to me and want me to do other things. And just praying, I'm praying that is going to come to fruition. And I'm ready to use my voice again. I'm ready to sing. So hopefully I'm praying to be in somebody's studio singing again because I sat on my gift and I've been singing since I was like 3 or 4. And so those are the things I'm working on. I pray about it daily is to start back singing, being more engaged with my motivational speaking, traveling, and finishing this PhD, which will probably be my second book.
So next time we should be.
And I want to act also. I really want to act. I love, just making people laugh. I'm ready to just step out my element. So yeah. I just have a lot of gifts and talents that's I keep bottled up, but God's like, no, it's time to use those. So
it is, and we like y'all. It's like we already know we done recycle these actors. We done recycle all these. We got great people, but it's some more. We have so much talent that's out there. We got so many musicians and so many other artists and so many filmmakers and writers that are coming up, and we ready. Ready. And I tell people all the time, people be making movies on their phone. Don't be waiting on nobody.
So if you want to book me, my link is scrolling Linktree, Hoops and Hurdles to book me. If you hit that link, everything will come up. So it's no thing, I didn't know. Yes, you do know. It's scrolling right now. You can also go to my Facebook page. The links are in my bio. You can go to my Instagram. The link is there. You can even go to my TikTok. Like whatever you need to do. I have a whole website, speakiconicwithteressa.com. Hit that. Do what you need to do. I am available. I'm ready. And let's make this. Let's go. Let's work. Let's collaborate.
That's it. I'm
down. Any last
girl trip? Okay, that's all.
You said girl trip.
We do need to
we need to come that way.
We need to do it for real.
For real, I'm down. Seriously.
We gonna make it happen.
Okay, we can let y'all know our business because we still live. So thank you all for tuning in to Hoops and Hurdles. Thank you all for tuning in to Hoops and Hurdles. I am author Teressa Mack. You have author Ty Patterson, author Tamron, Tobias. Yes. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure y'all share this, like, and hopefully we helped you all tonight. Y'all have a great night.
Bye, y'all.